There's a very big diplomatic row occurring between the United States, Canada, and China. As you probably well know, the chief financial officer of Huawei was arrested in Canada on December 1st and is now being charged with violating sanctions that relate to Iran. Now, initially it was believed that these were the ones that were just recently put on Iran by the United States, which have no legal basis as they actually violate the standing agreements that exist. We're talking about ones that go as far back as 2013. Now, these are ones that were certified by the UN. Obviously, those ones were nothing more than actions by imperialism as well. But essentially, these ones are actually codified into law, as opposed to those that have been put on Iran since then by the United States, since they unlawfully withdrew from the JCPOA agreement. So that little confusion came up right away, saying that, well, if that's the case, then there's no legal basis for the arrest, but there is, given that these are the older sanctions. Now, whether or not Huawei is actually guilty of this, and some of those charges, including bank fraud, is still yet to be seen, yet to be proven in court, etc. However, China, the Vice Foreign Minister Li Yuqian, did say this on Saturday. China strongly urges the Canadian side to immediately release the detained person and earnestly protect their lawful, legitimate rights. Otherwise, Canada must accept full responsibility for the serious consequences caused. Now, essentially, Meng has been arrested and charged with fraud, bank fraud, and defrauding numerous financial institutions. She would face a maximum sentence of 30 years for each charge. Now, it's all very interesting that all of this has been going on since 2013, but all of a sudden the United States decides that they want to enforce it now. Now, it's very clearly that this is an attack by the United States on China in the ongoing, trade war between the two countries. While the U.S. has certainly stalled that and willing to go to the negotiating table, even though China didn't actually do anything wrong to begin with, and it's the United States that unlawfully withdrew from it. It very much seems like this CFO is being used as a pawn in this case. It seems like this is something that's being used to put pressure on China. Well, you better come to the table and do whatever we say, or we're going to throw this person in prison for the rest of her life. Well, given that, and knowing the United States, probably multiple lifetime sentence. So I think this is definitely going to exacerbate things between China and the United States. Now, China doesn't respond very well to threats. They tend to get pretty aggressive behind it because China doesn't take that kind of nonsense from countries and tends to retaliate in situations like this. Now, the response by China during this whole trade war has been very dovish. They have not been seeking a conflict. They've been trying to resolve it peacefully so that things did not escalate into something greater. Because, with President Trump, anything is possible, even the completely ridiculous and nonsensical. So I think this may shift a change in Chinese policy towards the trade war with the United States, and that they now may become overtly hostile towards the United States for this act. And I think that's very much what this is all about, because if this was just simply whether or not this woman, the CFO, would be charged, it would probably go relatively ignored. And we cannot forget the dimension that Canada has ingratiated itself into this conflict by arresting the woman. At no point can Justin Trudeau, at no point can the Canadian legal system wash its hands and absolve it of anything having to do with this situation. Of course they have. They have ingratiated themselves by carrying out this arrest and looking to extradite her to the United States. So God knows what this is going to do for Canadian-Chinese relations, as it is very clear the Vice Foreign Minister has already made it very clear that there are going to be consequences for Canada acting in this way. But overall, this is very much the actions of the United States trying to pressure China in the continuing saga of the trade war between the two countries. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.